Hello, everybody. I pray all is well. I just wanted to pop on for a brief moment because I'm truly am excited. I got some wonderful news over the weekend, and it just feels good sometimes to get good news. So I'm excited. I'm happy. And if people are around, they're around. If people are not around, then they're not around. I tend not to do what are the norms of most people. I just do what I do because I'm Michael, and I'm not a unicorn, but sometimes I can be a little bit different. So I'm just inviting some people here. If they're around, they're around. If they're not around, again, no big deal. But I just want to share with you what I got in the mail. It's been a process. It's been a little bit of time coming, but the day is here. You may be saying, what is here? Well, for some of you, you've heard of this thing, but you didn't know what this thing was. So this is what I got, this wonderful package. Can you see what this package is? It's from this wonderful company. I'm not going to put the full thing, called Amazon. So what I got, drum roll please, I finally have it finished, like fully finished. Bam. Yes. See that? Life After Seth. Now some of you may be wondering who Seth is. Well, Seth was my firstborn son, and it's just a happy moment. I like this photo right here too. This photo right here is real good. It's the real thing. I have my own personal photographer. Her name is Joyce Gibson. She is a phenomenal photographer. She's able to capture, so many wonderful things. So I'm just so grateful to God and to my wife just to, capture this moment for me, to capture this book for me. Because I think this image says it all for me, because it's just me looking down, but it's about what if, what could really happen, contemplating, life after Seth. I never, honestly, in my heart, thought that I would lose my son. And I never imagined what life would be like without him. But now years have passed, and I know what life is without him. And it's full of joy. It's full of blessings. I have two beautiful children, and I have a wonderful wife that supports me in so many different ways. So I'm just grateful to God to be able to share this moment with you, me opening up the book and me having the book in my hands. So you may be wondering what this book is. This book is a book of poetry. I write poetry. For those of you that don't know, I write under the name Biblical Poet. It's not in color, but that is my logo. I'll bring it a little closer. See it? See it up there? That's the logo. I'm grateful for Jason Fisher. He made my logo. I'm very grateful to him for doing that. I'm grateful to my editor and publisher, Kingdom Books. It was Erica. I'm grateful to my friends for pushing me to finally get the work done. I mean, the book has been written for a while, but actually getting it in print has taken a little process. So I just wanted to share this moment with you all and let you all know that the book is available. It's available at Amazon. You just look up Life After Seth, Michael Gibson, and you can get it from Amazon. If you want a signed copy of the book, you can get it from me. You can go to my link at bit.ly/Life After Seth. And I'll actually type that in there, and you can get an autographed copy. You just have to allow a little time for Amazon to get it to me, and then for me to ship it out to you autographed. But it's a very humbling experience and happy moment for me to finally have copies to sell to the world. Again, Seth was my first child that my wife and I had, and he passed away. But I'm grateful to God that I actually got a chance to hold him, that I got a chance to meet him. And again, the books, it's just, I'm gonna read the back to you. You can get this off of Amazon as well, but I'm gonna read the back of the book. It says, "Have you ever felt betrayed by God? Have you ever thought, why do bad things happen to good people? Have you ever wondered whether God really loves you? If you have, you are not alone. After the passing of my son, I had all of those questions and many more. This book, Life After Seth, chronicles my journey from heartache to heart filled with praise. So, how does a loving God allow all of these obscure things to happen? The simple, the simple answer is that our loving God has given us all free will. With the freedom of choice, we have both the ability and responsibility to select either good or evil. Regardless of our choice, there will always be both unintended and unforeseen consequences. We can decide to embrace life or endure life. If you choose to embrace your life, I encourage you to sojourn with the biblical poet and learn how you can go from tragedy to triumph while you turn your mess into a message. So this book is just me turning my mess, or what people thought could be a mess, into a message. I could tell you some of these poems that are on here are just, just my heart on pages through poetry. Each one of them means something different to me for many different reasons. The first poem in here, the link, Joyce, you're funny. The link to order is bit.ly/life after Seth. That link is to the PayPal, and it'll say pre-order, but the book is available because you can see the book right here in front of you. What I would say, that is correct. It's $15 for the book and shipping and a signed autograph through the link. Like I said, you can get it off Amazon, but that will not be signed by me. But I could tell you some of the titles of the book. The first poem that I was saying is called Hate to Let You Go. That poem is very special because I wrote that poem when my son passed, and I actually read it at his memorial service. So it was pretty challenging to, pick up the pen again and write because I hadn't wrote in a while. And then the next poem is called I Need to See, and it's just God. I'm asking God for vision, asking God to help me just see the world again. So I believe that God really allowed me to see, and then I talk about his presence, superhero, because of love, access granted, which is really good, and process is probably one of my favorites. Process is a very good poem. So I have attached the link already. I'll retype it in here. It's bit.ly, bit.ly/life after Seth, all one word, is the link to the book. Again, I just wanted to share with the world. I talked about many of the poems a few months back, but I'm just grateful to physically have it in print and to be able to share my gift with the world. I thank you for your time. I thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, you know how to hit me up. You can find me and my poetry under hashtag biblical poet. That's the name that I write under, or obviously myself, Michael Gibson. You can find me there. But I have a page that has pretty much all my poetry there. Some of the poems in this book has not been released, so you can't find all of them there. But that's me. I could tell you that let me see here. So some of the poems are, again, I hate to let you go. I need to see his presence, superhero, because of love, access granted, process, transitions, hope, my scars, Mr. Sin, stay strong, a promise kept. And I can tell you that God is a keeper of his word. God really is a keeper of his word. A promise kept is dedicated to my son, Luke, that is with me today. And I can't tell you that, and you shouldn't say a lot, but losing a child is a very difficult moment. Or losing anyone is a very difficult moment in life. And I can tell you that when God gave me my first child, it was even difficult to receive that child because there's a part of you saying, what about the other child? And then to get another son, even though there's healing and having another child to hold, there's still a part of you saying, what about the other son? And I can tell you that there were many nights that I asked God about that. I can be honest. Many nights that I asked God, why? And I posted over the summer that I stand as a healed person because sharing my story is what allowed me to become an Amazon best-selling author. Life After Seth is my first solo project, but it's not the only project that I have. I shared my story in a book called A Stage of Their Own. I actually have that book as well for purchase. I shared my story on just what happened. You know, how do you go from being the happiest person on the planet, expecting your first child, to now not having a child? that was a really challenging moment. But God has allowed me to turn what seemed like a tragedy into triumph. And that's really the moral of the story, that God can turn what you think is a tragedy and really make it a triumph when you persevere. And the enemy will play with your mind. I'm not going to lie to you. The enemy will play with your mind, and the world will play with your mind, because one of the hardest things about losing a child is actually not losing a child. It's dealing with the people that feel as though they lost a child with you. And many times people don't want to let you go forward. Even when you have moved forward, people don't want to let you go forward. So I can remember moving forward, my wife and I trying to move forward. People will come to my door and just break down crying. I can tell you, when people are going through and you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Don't say anything. It's better just to say, I love you and I'm praying for you. Because I found myself, when Seth had passed, spending more time trying to console people than people actually being a strength to me. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to sound hurtful. But there were people that would just come, they would see me out, and they would just break down and cry. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to pick up the pieces. I'm trying to move on with my life, but you're not allowing me to move on with my life, because every time I see you, you're bawling tears. You're bawling tears, and I'm all cried out. I don't believe I have any tears left to cry. So it was definitely an interesting time. But that time allowed me to share my story with the world in the book, A Stage of Their Own. And that story, I talked about, the name of the chapter is The Birth of the Poet. And like I said, that's available for signed autograph copies. You can message me and I can ship you out a copy of that as well. I have a link for that. But that story allowed me to turn what I thought was, you know, just a mishap into something great. And then it led me to write this book, Life After Seth. So there's many poems in here that can really minister to you if you take time to allow it to minister to your heart, because I can tell you that it has ministered to me, and it will continue to minister to me from here on out. But again, I just wanted to let you know that I physically have the books. Again, the link that I posted is available. It is active. You don't have to pre-order because they're here. I've ordered a few copies of them, and I'll ship it anywhere in the United States for the price. And the reason why I said the United States, because when I did the PayPal account, I did shipping for inside of the United States, and I know this link goes all over the world, so I didn't account for any international shipping of that. But this book means a lot to me, and each poem speaks to me on a different level. And I've read this poem before, and I'm gonna just sign out with reading this one poem, because I believe a lot of people have been in this place, and when I read it, hopefully you'll get something out of it. It's called My Scars. My scars are a roadmap to my history. Some people try to hide them, but I believe they represent my resiliency. Without these scars, it would be very easy to forget just how good God has been to me. Sometimes I stare in the mirror and look with disbelief when I see the hallmarks of sin, how the enemy tried to put an end to me. Little did I know that in my weakness, Christ is made strong. So when the thoughts of how could I let this happen? How could you put yourself in that predicament? That's when God reminds me that the accuser of the brethren has already been dealt with. When he said it was finished, he didn't leave any residual of sin. So even when I want to cry because I see the harm that I cause myself, that's when his love really kicks in. That's when his unmerited favor speaks again. It speaks in a still small voice and says, live. That's when he says, my child, it's okay to begin again. All is not lost because I am time. What you thought the enemy took from you, I'm about to reclaim it back for you. I know the way that you should take. And what you've been through, you think it's a mistake. But I sifted it out already. Take my hand and rely on me. What I'm about to do for you, the world would know that I am your God and I am King. What your enemy did to you will become your testimony of victory. As the Father has revealed it to me, I'm going to relay this message to you. Know that this pressure was needed to make a diamond out of you. And that poem really just touches my heart, because there's times we think that the pressure in life was all for naught. We think that the pressure in life, there was no point to it. I want you to know that the pressure that has been in your life, in my life, in many other people's lives, was needed to make a diamond. Diamonds are made from pressure. And diamonds are found in dirty places. If you were to look under a diamond that wasn't clean, it's found in muck and mire and caves that is mined, it is dirty. And that's how many people's lives have been, full of dirt, filled with mire. It had to be going to a cave. It had to be going down under the ground to be unearthed and dug out. But when a diamond is cut, that is what helps it sparkle. When a diamond is cleaned, that is what makes it a desirable thing. And I can tell you that God has cleaned my life, Sin got the best of me in certain areas at a point in a season in my life. But I can tell you, when God turns you around and when that pressure hits you, there's nothing like the grace of God that can make you sparkle. So as I stated, sin tried to make me think, the enemy tried to make me think that my scars should have been hidden. But God gave me this revelation. Wounds are open, scars are healed. So we all get wounded. But when it's a scar, that just lets you know that God is still a healer. So many people have scars, but that don't mean that God is not a healer. And this book, to me, is a healing to me. This book, for me, I hope it'll bless somebody and change somebody's life. Because honestly, it has changed my life. I would say when you read my poems, when you read, read it a couple times. Read it a couple times. And I'm not saying that because I wrote it, but I don't just idly write. I don't idly write. I pray, I fast. Yeah, I fast. Or it gets downloaded to me in a service. I'm not just, these poems here are not just randomly written poems. These poems are divinely inspired. In all honesty, divinely inspired. So you can't just read through it once and say, well, I got it. Because there's a message. Now, I didn't give a breakdown of the scriptures in this poem, but I chose the name biblical poet because I rely on the Bible as my foundation. So there will be many scriptures hidden or plain sight if you know the word. They'll be in plain sight if you know the word, but if you don't know the word, there are many scriptures hidden inside of the book. And I hope, again, and pray that it just ministers to you the way that it has ministered to me. My Scars, the poem that I just read, it speaks to me on so many different levels, because we got to turn our testimonies into victory. It's very easy to say that I have scars. And God is, I love that commercial, Captain Obvious. It's Captain Obvious that I got a scar, because my God healed me. Many people don't see you when you're wounded. They see you after the scar. And they will try to make you think that the scar is a bad thing. No, the scar is a good thing, because it's a reminder of where I've been. So I can tell you where I've been, but where I am now, those scars were truly needed to propel me to be the person that I am today. And again, I want to thank, all of my friends that have supported me through the years, especially during the trying years of losing my first child. And I want to thank, my business friends, my online friends, for just pushing me to pursue the things that God has placed in my heart. I especially want to thank, my children for putting up with their dad for the many nights that I would be noodling. I call it noodling or doodling on my phone, just trying to write some things, or I would engage them to listen to music as I'm trying to put, and make a video. So I'm extremely grateful for those two, and most importantly, I'm extremely thankful for my wife. Without her, there is no Michael Gibson. I know my father and my mother birthed me, but without her, there is no Michael Gibson. I've known her now, my wife and I, we've been together 25 years. So she is truly a part, she's the best part of my life as an adult. And she is the one who actually bore and gave birth to this boy. She gave birth to Seth, and she gave birth to my other children. So I'm glad that, she's with me, she's stuck by me, because when you are artistic, sometimes you can be more aloof than others. And it's not that you don't want to communicate with people, but sometimes when you're in a mode of being creative, you have to be alone with your own thoughts. So I'm grateful to her for just, tolerating some of the creative sides of me. And it's not that I don't want to open up, but when God is giving me a download, or I have a vision in my mind that I want to write, sometimes I just got to write it. So there's been nights, especially when I made I Need to See, the video I Need to See. I think I was up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm crawling in the bed, and I got to get up like at 5 o'clock. So literally like an hour or two of sleep. And she's never said, stop making those videos. So again, I have plenty of videos. I Need to See it. It's out. It's probably one of my favorite videos that I made. It was the first time that I had the software. I Need to See, that's out. Superhero, that's out, so you can see me perform Superhero. A lot of the stuff, like I said, is out on the web, but I do have some poems in this book that's never been released that I won't read. So if you want to get it, you got to get the book. Again, it's Life After Seth. You can get a signed autographed copy if I go into the link. I know it says pre-order, but here's the proof that the book is here. Here's the proof that the book is here. So I have the book. Again, my wife, she's the one who did this cover photo. I want to thank, Erica and Kingdom Writers Books for helping me get the project out. I want to personally thank also Altavis for just being a champion. I want to thank Cheryl. I want to thank Thea. I want to thank Yolanda Poe, Sabrina, Terrell, Javon. There's some of the people. I want to thank my cousin Michi. She's always been a champion of mine. Tanya, I want to personally thank you as well. I even want to thank my mother. My mother has become probably one of my biggest cheerleaders. So it's wonderful when your mom, believes in you it's wonderful when your mom believes in you. My dad is no longer with me, so um, I know that he believes in me as well, and he's always believed in me. I want to thank my pastors. Without my pastors' prayers, their support, their conversations, and it's just so many people that I can't name all of you. Sean Denson is another one. My brother-in-law, John Grimsley, my sister Sylvia Grimsley, my brother Gregory Gibson. I'm grateful to you, all the trustees and Hamiltons in the parks, all of you. This book is because of you all as well, because each person that has come across my path, one way or another, has deposited something good. And this is what I can tell you. Losing a child is not easy, but there's nothing like the love and support of family. And I remember, the first Christmas, after Seth had passed, and the support of my family during that time. And then after my father passed, I have a poem here called Transitions Hope, and that's dedicated to my father. And that first Christmas after he passed, just the love and support of my family. I mean, I have friends, but your family has known you for a long time. And just the prayers of my family, there's nothing like having a praying family. And I can tell you that I know I felt their prayers when I couldn't pray for myself. So I would say, love your family. Love your family. And this book is just me trying to leave a legacy for my family. Just trying to leave a legacy for my family and making, this world a better place through prose. That's the gift that God has given me. So I'm going to get off of this video. I've been on here for a minute, but again, it's Life After Seth. I have the book. The other book will be out in the next couple of weeks for print. And the other book, Stage of Their Own, that book is already out. If anybody's interested in that book, you can contact me, you can message me. But I have a Stage of Their Own already done in print. Life After Seth is in print. I got to get a couple more copies. It takes like a week or so to get books. So if you want an autographed copy, again, go to the link bit.ly/Life After Seth. It is in the comments. If you want an autographed copy, if you just want a copy, you can go to Amazon and look up Life After Seth by Michael Gibson, and you can get a copy there. But I do thank you for taking the time out of your schedule just to hear what I got to say. And hopefully you take time out of schedule to read what I have to say. And for those of you that don't know, I do go live every Thursday in a group called #YIG2C, otherwise known as Why I Go to Church. So I do go live every Thursday. I have that on my own personal page. I have it on my Biblical Poet page, and I have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to catch some of the replays, YouTube is not as current as Facebook is, but you can follow me there on those social media platforms. And again, just thank you for your time, and I love all of you that have championed me and supported me. I've been at this now for about 3 years, writing. I've been writing longer than that, but 3 years going live and having a social media presence. So I do thank everybody that has supported me. I thank you for every heart. I thank you for every like. I thank you for every share. I thank you for every 3-second view, because God hasn't called me to save everybody, but He's called me to save one somebody. And I hope that this book will inspire you to draw closer to your family, and most importantly, and more importantly, to draw closer to God. Because this story is just me drawing closer to God. And in closing, I would tell you that you got to understand that life is a journey. It's a journey. And life, it's a process. And you got to learn to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, you'll find it hard to enjoy life, but understand that it's a process. So be blessed. And again, thank you for your time. And I hope to send a copy of the book out to you. Thanks again. Be blessed.